Nah, I don't know. We live? Good evening. Today, Tuesday, April 25th, 2025. 22nd, 2025 is our Common Council meeting with Parks, Recreation, and Family Services. In attendance, we have Councilmember Joyce Love, Councilmember Jack Flynn, Councilmember Richard Conti, and our esteemed staff also here. Today, we have Commissioner Jonathan Jones and his staff, and we're going to go over Summer Youth Employment Program. Is there any other updates that he would like to share as well with his staff? So, come on, let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Evening. This is my 12th time speaking before you about this program, which brings me great joy, and many of you either have been participants in our program or you've worked with us over the course of my tenure here to make this a success. So I want to publicly thank you for all your support. I want to start out on page 1, going through our program timeline. You'll hear not only from me, but also from the people who make this happen, and a real big hat off to them because they work really hard almost year round on this program. So we started our marketing and outreach on December 1st. That goes through the fiscal year, and we turn over and we start, going to schools and whatnot beginning in January through March 31st. This year our registration opened on February 26th, and it ended on the end of March on the 31st. This year, fortunately, and last year, we were able to use our technology, and our young people were able to apply through a mobile app that connected to a job form, made it a lot easier rather than paper. We didn't waste a lot of paper, but on top of it, it allowed our young people to really get access with their own fingertips to apply for this opportunity. Now we are done with registration. We'll get to the numbers in a few minutes, but just to walk you through the next steps. So orientation this year will be 2 weeks instead of 1 week. It will be using a virtual platform. All of our young people who have went through steps 1 and 2 will be eligible for orientation. And at the orientation, they'll learn about our expectations for the program, the do's and don'ts, some of the skills that they will need for certain jobs, and at the same time give them just some good information about how to be ready for the workplace. Our program will begin on July 7th. That first week, July 7th through July 11th, is what we call Enrichment Week. It's what, as professionals, we would call professional development, where they're meeting young people, they're meeting professionals, our young people are meeting professionals at college sites. A great thank you to the University at Albany, the greatest institution on the land, as well as some of our school partners at KIPP, and even the high school has been very appreciative and welcoming to us in the past, and we hope for the upcoming year that it'll be the same. On July 14th, so after their first week of enrichment, on July 14th through August 9th, it says July here, but it should say August 9th, is when our young people are working at the businesses. They can work up to 20 hours a week. We ask that all of our businesses be located in the 15 wards that encompass our city, as well as they have not only a work supervisor with them, but at the same time, all of our young people through our program are given the opportunity to work with a job coach. On August 9th, hopefully all of you can join us at Bleecker Stadium, where we have a celebration and an award ceremony. This is our opportunity to show our parents, as well as even some potential teachers, what the talent that we have in our city, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for our peers to connect with one another and to see all the great work that they did. I'm going to pass this now to our Deputy Commissioner, Raphael Tucker, who was once in this program. He was in the program when we had stone tablets, but he's still here with us. Here we go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. How do I move this forward? Here we go. Strategies that we use this year to market and promote our program. Tabling events. We went to community events as well as to all schools, both public, charter, and private schools during the lunch periods. We started that back in December, letting young people know it's coming, what is needed for the application, the process in terms of documentation, as well as our timeline. Phone calls, we made direct phone calls to individuals and organizations to let them know about, again, our timeline, our process, and what information young people will need to apply for the program, but more importantly, what also organizations that they want to become a work site. Emails, the same process in terms of being intentional, giving more informational to targeted individuals in the community. A lot of partners refer young people to us for some youth employment opportunities, and we wanted to be able to reach out to a broader audience. In-person and Zoom meetings, also face-to-face and virtual conversations. Again, allowing people who may have questions or who may not have heard of our program that opportunity to get more in-depth information of our process, our goals, and our mission. Promotional materials, we distributed flyers, brochures, digital platform as well to market the program. We also this year, as well as last year, sent out flyers to work sites who were part of the program last year that is coming to be a part to look out for this year, as well as young people who are part of our 2024 program, letting them know that this process will be the same this year with the application online process and timeline as well. And lastly, presentations. We did presentations when asked, and we always do annual presentations at the school district community roundtable meeting, letting them know of our process, our timelines, and information they need to help their students apply for the program. All right, thank you. Next, we'll have Diamond.
Hi guys, my name is Diamond and I'm the Youth Program Facilitator for the City of Albany Youth and Workforce Services, and I'm going to talk to you about registration. So, as we mentioned before, registration was between February 26th to March 31st. So we had those first couple weeks for the students to just do the online application. On March 15th, we opened up the period where the students could drop off their applications, their required documents, and have an interview with City of Albany staff. Once the online application was complete, the number that applied was 1232. On the presentation it says 1012, that is a typo. After the last day of registration drop-off period, which is April 4th, we had 823 students drop off everything. Compared to last year, that was 720. And last year, we extended our drop-off period for 2 extra weeks. So that's a big increase of numbers, over about 100 from last year to this year, which is great for us, which means that not only does it say that we went down maybe with people applying, but just be mindful that that was a longer period last year, and we still didn't get the numbers that we got this year. So shout outs to everyone with the outreach, shout outs to you guys for sharing this with your communities, because without that, we wouldn't be able to have the numbers that we have today. And now I'm gonna pass it over to Tyler, and he's gonna talk about the work sites that we have for the summer.
Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Simmons. I'm the Youth Outreach Coordinator, and now I got the opportunity to talk about work sites. So right now we have up to 24 work sites that are 19 non-for-profit and for-profit, 5 being here within our state and city organizations, starting with ourselves, the Youth and Workforce Services. Secondly would be Human Resources. Thirdly would be the New York Senate Building. Fourthly would be the New York State Inspector General, and as well as the Water Department. We have some different professions for our youth here in the city of Albany to expose them more to what they don't be able to have a chance to see on a day-to-day basis. So that might be working with the library, doing some clerical work here at the state buildings, as well as being like maybe a business ambassador, gardening, being a part of real estate, maybe daycare or summer camps, and as well as working a part of the museum. Within your partnerships as work sites, these long-lasting impressions on our youth gives them the opportunity to be exposed to something that they possibly wasn't thinking about maybe a year or two ago, even though they're so young in their minds. But again, give them the opportunities to be a part of this work sites, or opportunities to be a part of these stations. They have the opportunity to, again, expand their minds, but also expand their futures as well. Then returning back to Jonathan.
So you got a chance to hear from the staff that put this program together. It should be noted that Diamond, when she first started with our department, I think 7, 8 years ago, she's climbed up through our ranks and now is a person who's putting together a lot of the work. And Tyler, who will be graduating with a master's degree in a couple of weeks, was someone who came onto our department, was a participant through an external program, and now has been in our department working on that. So very happy with them and their success. We will make sure to get the updated charts and other information to you for the full council. So how can you support SYUP? There's a few things you can do, and many of you have already done a couple of these, so they won't be new. The first thing is to participate in our Enrichment Week. I have a class, upwards of 75 to 100 kids that I'm with for 20 hours on the first week. Pray for me. But at the same time, if you ever want to push in, it would be great for them to understand what you do and how not only your work as a council, but also your work as a professional. If you could also encourage 2 professional development speakers. Maybe there's someone in your ward who is an author, or someone who's an electrician or an engineer. It'd be good for our young people to see constituents that look like them, but at the same time live where they live. For the third thing, if you could secure 3 to 5 quality work sites. One thing that we did mention is the number of young people we have. That's an increase from this year, but we also have a drop in work sites. Many of our camps that we worked with in the years prior are not going to be able to host young people because of change in regulation. There's also work shortages in many of our work sites, and so this year, although we have upwards of 800 young people to find jobs for, we don't want to put them in a park like Jack was with a shovel, waiting around for whoever to come around. I'll never forget that story. And so we want to give them work that's going to show their talent, but at the same time, something in the future that they could rely on that could show them that they have skills. Also, if you can identify potential business sponsors for daily snacks and lunches. Many of our young people come hungry. We do provide snacks for them during the Enrichment Week, but some of our young people, unfortunately, this money that they're making and earning is family money, and so they don't have the ability to buy lunches or things for themselves. We do have the feeding program that we work with on our sites, at our camps around the city, but many of our young people, if they have summer school and then they have work after, are not able to do that. And so we don't want them going to the corner store, eating sugary foods, and then having to go into a place of business. So if they could have something healthy or something that's gonna really carry them throughout the day, that would be great. 2 other things is if you can attend, our kickoff this year is gonna be a little different. It's gonna be virtual, but our end of the summer celebration, I think for all of you, that's something for you to see your constituencies in a place where they've done something that contributed to our society, but at the same time, they can just be kids. And at that same time, if you're more than welcome, if you're interested in having a table for your ward or for something that you're passionate about, we have that ability to expose and educate our young people and our families as well at that event. And then the last thing, many of you have newsletters and social media feeds. If you can just highlight some of the businesses that have been participating. It's important for us that we're not just always talking about the things we need, but also showcasing the things that we have had success with in our work sites. The ones that we participate with are always just so positive to our young people, and they give them opportunities to really shine. And so with that, I'm going to open it up for any questions. And I just want to thank you again for your help. Please remember that the young people that are in this program, many of them sign up and they are in the New York State retirement system through this program. Many of them also become future city employees, and so this is a launch pad for our city to have full employment in the future years. So I'll open it up for questions. Chairman?
Thank you for that presentation, and as always, thank you for all that you do for the city. I know that when we talk about the mayor's legacy, you know, I think for many of my constituents, it's always the investments that this city has made, particularly when it comes to parks and public spaces. And I know that you have been a great partner with the mayor to make sure that we make these investments in our parks and our youth and our public spaces. My first question is more so about the drop-off, which was extended for 2 extra weeks last year. Is there a reason why it wasn't extended this year, or how is that decision usually made?
Yeah, so we decided not to extend it because we really promoted earlier, and we promoted with partners intentionally. So whether it was the refugee community, special needs community, whether it was even our high schools, even some of the council members I had an opportunity to speak to early about the process. And we just really wanted to make sure that we were able to serve all the young people that did the right thing and went through the timeline, and not extend it any further because we still have a gap in jobs versus the number of young people enrolled.
Gotcha. And then my second question, it's not more so a statement. Most of it was, you know, how can we help some youth employment program? And it seemed like you had a presentation
Put
on
it
it
there,
already,
yeah.
so that would be it for me. Any council members want to go? Committee members first? Jack?
Thank you, Jonathan. You mentioned how a lot of these employees, how many repeat workers do you have? Do you have a lot?
It's usually a 50-50 split. We'll have 50% new kids and 50% returning. This year, we actually saw an increase of 18-year-olds, right? And so that's mind-blowing for us, because usually over the course of the last 5 years, we've seen a drop in 18-year-olds, but this year we saw more 18-year-olds.
Right. Now, the business perspective, how does that work? Like, I'm going to use an entrepreneur here.
Yeah.
Do you like work with like the Madison Theater or other businesses so kids can work there?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice.
And so what they do is on our city website, there's a work site application. They can fill that out. Once we receive it, our team usually goes out, interview, look at the spot, look at the location, talk to the supervisor, understand the logistics, and then right before the summer starts, we meet again, and that's how we know they're a good fit.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Conti?
Yeah, Doc, do you have a list of the businesses that are participating?
A list? Yes, we do have a list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make sure we
can
share.
promote them and you know,
Yes, sir.
highlight their contribution.
I'll make sure of that for sure.
Sorry. Just to kind of follow up as it relates to the list, is there any other businesses that you want us to kind of, you know, assist in our own respect to kind of encourage them, or?
Honestly, I want every business. I mean,
Okay,
go ahead,
gotcha.
Donovan, anything that we could think of.
South End? Gotcha.
The other thing too is, so I know there's a lot of mom and pop shops, there's a lot of small businesses, but a lot of our large organizations have had to reduce numbers. And so any business that's open in the afternoon that can take our young people, that's a big thing. But also if there's anything from retail to graphic design, our young people are so talented. I don't want to put a limit on them, but anything that they can have exposure to in the workplace is great. And New York State has been very helpful with that as well.
Thank you. Ms. Conti?
Just one more. Can you just clarify, I guess, the hours
Yes.
that they're allowed to?
Yeah. So our young people are allowed in the summertime a longer hours because of they're not in school, right? But our program, we only allow them to work 4 hours. We work with the work sites though, and this is where we have to be flexible, because some work sites, maybe they're off on Mondays. I'll use a barbershop, for example, that's closed on a Monday, but they're open on a Saturday. So that's our opportunity to work with that business. And so we work with a case-by-case business kind of model. But at the end of the day, 4 hours. We try not to work on weekends because we want our young people to be home. But at the same time, we also have a cutoff. We try not to have our young people work past 8 o'clock in the summertime.
To work past or not?
To not work past 8 o'clock. So maybe a 4 to 8.
Just put the mic on,
So,
please.
so the window within which they can work those 4 hours are from what day in the morning to?
Yeah, it could be
Time.
9 to 1. It could be a 1 to 4, 1 to 5. It could be a 4 to 8. But any window within that 9 to 8
Like 9
kind
to
of
5,
window.
but
Right,
it's
9 to
just 4
5, 9 to 8 window. Yeah.
And it's Monday through Friday?
Yes.
Some
With the
exceptions.
exceptions, yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You know, my yearly question I would like to start with is, what was the total, and forgive me if you said this already, I'm late to this meeting. What was the total number of people that you started out with, and what is the final number?
So we started out registered, so those who went online and applied without documentation was 1,232. And at the conclusion of our drop-off, we had 823 young people that dropped off all of their documentation. That is 103 more this year than we had last year.
So, you know, I get the gist of the program. We don't want to just have them sitting in the parks. You know, I could fly into everything. The one part that I caught when you said the people that did the right thing, you know, we got to remember we're talking about kids. And some of these kids aren't able to produce, not because of them. Sometimes it's the adults that are holding up the process.
Sure.
But ultimately, a kid gets penalized. So, you know, 1,200, that's a great number for me, you know. And what I always want to, and I've said this year after year, is how do we improve the 823 number from now until operations start. And you know, in the past you said that you're looking for work sites, you know, and I understand that as well. I just always have to be an advocate for the youth because sometimes things are out of their control. And being a young man that grew up with people that this opportunity, you know, made a big difference in their lives. And even now, they're talking about even more money. So it's even more of a help to families and to the individuals. And so, you know, I'm always trying to figure out, you know, how do we bridge that gap that at the end, you know, you get the phone calls, we get the phone calls about, I got one today, and I didn't call you on it because I already know the answer. So that's the magical part of this that would make the program even stronger. And then also those kids, you know, I'm not talking about kids that just blew off the opportunity. I'm talking about kids that, you know, it was an adult in between that didn't do what they were supposed to be able to do. And, you know, kids are on an island right there because they have no control over that.
No, yeah, you're 1,000% right. I have 3 mentees that are not going to be in the summer youth employment program, and I had a conversation with their parents. We have 2 of our job coaches, and their kids are not going to be in the program. It's a tough thing. We're the only city of this size that has ever extended their program. New York City has a lottery. Rochester has a close-off date. Schenectady County and so does Rensselaer County. They have a cutoff date, and they only serve TANF kids. And so I agree with you 1,000%. I would never blame a child. That's why hopefully you caught me saying people, not children. But at the end of the day, this is tough work because right now we're down 500 jobs. So we have 500 more young people than we have jobs right now. And we have about 9 weeks in order to figure this out. And so it's on me as a department head to find those opportunities. But at the same time, if we keep extending it, that's more and more numbers and more jobs. But I appreciate your advocacy, and I'm with you 1,000%. And because of what we've said over the course of the years, we've been able to advocate a little bit more in the schools, starting in December, instead of just waiting until right before registration period time. But it's really parents, you know, parents, if you're listening to me, I'm a parent too. Please know where your children's important documents are. And when it comes around in January, please have, you know, an updated physical, social security card, birth certificate, because those are things that without that, we can't even enroll them in this program or put them on payroll.
And as a district employee, I hope that the district is listening because this is things that should be happening in September, and October and November, like when we require the families to provide documentation. You know, we need to start taking that extra step to include the information for working papers, because I think that it would streamline the whole process. But I guess sometimes you have to say stuff out loud for it to become.
No, you are spot on. I mean, we would do the roundtable. We do that early so that we could at least get it to the district. And in full transparency, in our district, we had some employees that were giving payroll packets and not applications. And so we have some young people that completed payroll packets but didn't have the right application. So we were able to work that out and get the right communication to them. But as a city, I hope that this program, our streamline and our process is clear. I hope we can continue to do the right thing by our young people and getting the right information to them and not rushing them through a process because we don't want them in our office.
So the roundtable was Friday, and I believe y'all are the guests, so I think that that's a point that we should bring to the floor, because that would help the process out, tremendously. And from, the school district has those kids 9 months a year,
Absolutely.
10 months a year, so
Yes, sir.
I think it goes hand in hand, and I know it has been an effort put forth, but I think that it's opportunity and room for growth,
Absolutely.
so that we can, have a 1% of the kids not complete the whole process.
Right, instead of more than that, yeah, I get you.
But thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Councilmember Love?
14?
Councilmember Love, speaking to the mic? Just the mic.
Because they're not doing their job. And a couple of them got dismissed.
Yeah.
Now, do they come back the next year?
Yes.
Are they able to come back the next year?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good.
We don't ban them for life, it's just, nah, we ain't that harsh. Nah, we're not that harsh, we're not that harsh.
Like I said, it happened, you
Yeah.
know, and I've been working with Nolene for the last
Absolutely.
15 years, and I've seen it happen.
Yes.
Where the supervisor had to come remove them
Yeah,
because they refused to work or just
that's right,
sit there and want to just collect a paycheck and
That's
do
right.
nothing.
that's right.
So, well, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I hope this, so we apply progressive discipline with our young people we would as they're an employee in the city of Albany. However, this program, for some parents, they sign their kids up, but their kids really don't even know nothing about it. They just sign their kids up for something for them to do. Fortunately, with a team like this, we're able to get them engaged and get them involved, but you've seen some of the work that we had to do, and unfortunately, when we do have to dismiss a young person, it is with the work site in mind, but also the other young people in mind as well. But we never just kick them out like that, but we try to just have it be a teachable moment. I love this program for the kids. I like our parents, but man, if I could have a parent youth employment program, I would have that as well.
No, thank you. And just to also follow up as relates to like the age, I know that, the age limit is, I think, 14 to 18
Yes.
with us.
Yes,
I know Schenectady just recently extended it to 24.
yes.
Is that something that you could see yourself lobbying for during budget season? Maybe we could increase it from 14 to 24? Is that something that you guys?
No,
would be-
in the city of Albany, I think we're well positioned with 14 and 18. Now, the thing about that Schenectady program is TANF only, right? And so that would, TANF only. So TANF means 200% poverty threshold. So you have to be you have to be income eligible to participate. So we have that, we have some TANF kids in our program, but it's open to all socioeconomic. If we were to do that, we'd be in some financial trouble. However, the benefit of our program is we also have a youth opportunity office. Thanks to this council, we have a building and a space on 382 Clinton where young people can come up to the age of 24 to get the same type of hand instruction, one-on-one instruction. They can get printed materials. They can understand the job market through our workforce department. So that gives us a different shift. But for this program, that 14 to 18-year-old, we really need to really keep them focused. And at the same time, my goal in this is not only to expose them to the careers, but make them understand why Albany is the best place for them to live throughout their duration. And when I first came here, a lot of young people would go to school here, live here, and they say, I don't ever want to come back. But there's a lot of resources here. So this is a place you should want to live, and you should want to grow your family. You can actually afford to do that here. So that's one of the goals in this program.
Councilmember Flynn?
Quick question about the business. If, do you think there would be more businesses that want to get involved in this, since the city is taking money off their payroll, right?
That's right.
They don't get, the businesses don't get reimbursed.
No, no, they
It
don't.
comes out of the city's payroll.
That's right, we
So you think
subsidize.
there'd be a flow of businesses that want to participate in this?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think that it will be. You know, some people, unfortunately, they have a stigma about who our young people are, and they don't want to babysit. But with these young people, they're so talented, they're actually going to contribute. We've seen it time and time again, even businesses going up along Central Avenue where technology has been increased or elevated because of our young people's involvement. And I think that's a real strength of our program versus others.
Thank you.
What is the, so like the period of time when the kids are applying for the jobs, and it's a cutoff. But what if it's a kid that's turning 14, maybe 2 weeks after that? What's the possibility?
Yeah, so you have to be 14 by the time of our sign-up period. After that, you have to wait a full year to come back. So we do have some young people, we have twins actually, that their birthday is on April 2nd. They would have been 14 this year, and they're gonna have to wait till next year. The one good thing though, if you're 15 and you're in the city of Albany and you know how to swim, you can be a lifeguard and get paid $20 an hour. So if I was you and you're 15 years or older, you might want to call recreation and get a couple more dollars. That's just a little tidbit right there for anybody, you know? Any other
Further
questions?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thank you again for everything that you do for the city. We look forward to having a successful summer youth employment program this summer,
Yes.
and all the work that you do with your staff. And I know there are so many people that make it work that are not here as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
too, even
sure.
with the school district or even your staff. So again, just want to say thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, appreciate it, and thank you, council, for continuing to put city money into this program to keep it open for all. Thank you.
Yeah, if you can give that list to the businesses, because I'd like to go to the businesses that support the
correct.
kids.
Yeah, we'll make sure to send an updated presentation and the list of businesses for everyone on the council.
All right, come on down. Motion to adjourn? All right, second by Councilmember Conti.